Good morning. So, on behalf of Astro Matrix, I'm here today to talk to you about the full moon in Aries on the 1st and 2nd of October. But before I proceed, I'd like to ask, please, if you enjoy our content, to like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you receive our updates. Right, so once I give the full astrology report, I'm then also going to do a little tarot reading, and we're just going to explore the themes around what the full moon represents, so stay tuned. Right, so with the full moon, it's happening at 9 degrees of Aries, and it's in a tight conjunction with Chiron in Aries at 7 degrees. And as I mentioned, it happens on the 1st or the 2nd of October, depending on where you are in the world. So Aries, in full moon in Aries, the full moon is a time of culmination. It's when the seeds that we planted during the new moon come into fruition. It also has to do with illumination, so it shines light on things that were not previously revealed or clear. This full moon in Aries is a very energetic, fiery moon. It has the potential to be hot-headed with lots of emotions flying around. You may feel a lot more courageous, energized, and daring to take on things. And because it's in a conjunction to Chiron, Chiron represents the wound. And right now, with Chiron collectively moving through Aries, it has a lot to do with, do I have a right? What is my right as the individual? And it's all about individuation and exploring the themes around where we are out of power as individuals with our power. And especially because it's over the next few months, it's coming in and out of a square to the conjunction between Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in Capricorn, which has a lot to do with the corruption of power within the governments and the institutions against the people. So that's coming up to review, to be triggered intensely over the next few months. So the full moon, in order for there to be a full moon, it needs to be in opposition to the sun, and the sun, of course, is in Libra. So Libra is all about fairness, justice, equality, as well as diplomacy. So when we consider this configuration, we have this dynamic, daring, emotional full moon in Aries in a conjunction with this wound of not feeling a sense of individuation or belonging, in opposition to Libra, which is all about fairness, justice, and equality, in a sort of a loose square to the Pluto-Saturn conjunction happening in Capricorn, which has to do with the corruption of powers that may be. For me, this theme very much asks us to explore the dynamics between unpacking and addressing our individuation as individuals, our power as individuals, what are my needs, where am I wanting to go, versus the community, the collective, and the fairness and the equality of that. So how is it that we can fit into that environment where we're supporting the greater good, but at the same time not losing our power or our individuality, so that we can collectively meet how it is that this corruption is happening on the planet. So what's interesting about this is that alongside this, we also have Uranus in Taurus, and Uranus is the liberator. It really wants to break free. It really wants to unbind any restrictions and get us fully into our power, doing the highest of what it is that we should be doing. It's ruled by Aquarius, so it's all about the collective. It's all about the bigger picture. So this Uranus is in an inconjunct or a quincunx to the Sun in Libra. So this can be quite unsettling. You may feel emotional instability or a lot of pent-up energy, irritation, anxiety even. And it's really, really asking for change again. So it wants to break free of where it is possibly that we're too diplomatic, or we're not possibly in our power enough. So it's wanting to unleash where it is that we've become too tamed, or too softened, or too people-pleasing. And it's wanting us to access our creative force as individuals, working with that full moon in Aries conjunct the wound in Chiron. So during this time, you may experience external powers that come up against you and create some tension or conflict. And the key here is flexibility and balance, and just going with the flow with each moment. You know, if any emotional instability or anxiety or any inner tension does come to the surface, it's just about feeling the feels and becoming very conscientious and aware of what is getting shaken up for you. As I always say with astrology, it's a beautiful tool once you have the awareness of what's playing out to address or to meet what you're coming up against in a healthier way, as opposed to just reacting or becoming arrogant to a situation or not allowing yourself to change. It's all about change right now. We've got so many cardinal planets which are really wanting to initiate and create change. So for those of you who have been feeling bored or who have a lot of pent-up energy, you might find that you're needing change, you're excited and you want to do something, you're wanting some kind of stimulation. So it's really seeking some kind of outlet for creative expression. So really tapping into creativity is another key time right now. So to add to the feel of this whole situation, in 2 days later, on the 3rd of October, we have Mars in Aries, which is the ruler of the lunation of the full moon, at 24 degrees, coming into a conjunction with Eris, which is the planet of strife and discord, and wherever it is in our chart is where it expresses its rebelliousness. And this is in a conjunction with Black Moon Lilith, which is the raw primal divine feminine, who is let's just say quite angry about having been repressed. So these three are working tightly together and will be so, doing a tight square to Saturn, which comes out of its retrograde and starts moving forward. So this is almost like hitting a brick wall in an attempt to move forward, coming up against this force of Saturn, which is very much the restrictor. So it's going to add a lot of frustration and tension over the next few days. So I'm sharing this with you so that you may become aware of any power struggles that may play up and how you can meet them with a deeper level of awareness, and instead of reacting, understand what is underneath it. Understand what is underneath it and work with that, taking ownership of where it is that you're not fully in your power, where it is that you do feel small up against the powers that may be, and where it is that you're needing to individuate and move forward, but in a harmonious and fair and balanced way that supports the greater good, that supports the community. So yeah, this is going to be an electrifying full moon. It's also known as an harvest moon because it's the moon closest to the equinox that has just happened. And it's also one of 2 moons this month, which doesn't happen often. It only happens once every 2 to 3 years. So I've got the cards here for the collective, and I'm busy giving them a good shuffle. And we just want to pick a few cards to see what the themes around this full moon are, and you can take and do with it as you wish. So the cards here are for the collective, to do with the full moon in Aries coming up on the 1st and the 2nd of October. Show us what we need to see. All right, so let's pick a few cards. So the first card that we have here is, what is the theme of the full moon for us as the collective? All right, what is the full moon wanting me to see? Where am I not in my power? What am I needing to let go of? As the full moon is very much about letting go, releasing, clearing, cleansing, purging. And especially with all these planets happening in Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn with Jupiter, it's very much leading us into a period where we're coming through the birthing canal, and it's all about purging. It's letting go of old, outdated ways of being around power, not just as individuals, but as the collective as well. Okay, so the first question is, what is the theme of full moon? And I've got the Seven of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles is a card that asks you to review where it is that you have been, everything that you have accumulated in your life, everything that you have shaped as who you are. It's reviewing that and discerning what serves you and what doesn't, in order to move forward in a new direction, lighter but closer to your truth. So the next card is, what is the full moon wanting to tell me? What is the full moon wanting me to explore? And we've got the Ten of Swords, and the Ten of Swords is not a very pleasant card. It's a man lying down on his stomach with 10 swords stabbing him in the back, and there is a dark night that is passing, and we've got the new dawn coming through. And this card talks about endings, and so for me this card is very much about letting go of old, outdated mental concepts that no longer serve you, around who it is that you are as a human, your rights as a person. I feel like it has a lot to do with the power, because the swords are related to the mind, and in a way we can be our worst enemy through our minds, and how it is that we break ourselves down, and how it is that we try and fit into society, and how it is that we try and belong, and how it is that we compromise ourselves in situations. And this has a lot to do with old wounds. So I really feel like old wounds may be coming up to the surface to be explored and released. Allow the loss, allow the purging to happen and to be released. So the next question is, where is it that I'm not fully in my power? Because I feel like this full moon and the next few months ahead is very much about connecting to a deeper power within and releasing unhealthy power. So we've got the Four of Swords, and the Four of Swords is about retreat and taking time out to assess what it is that is not working, what it is that needs to be let go of. So again, I feel like all three of these cards are asking you to take time out and reflect and review on what needs to be released in order to move forward, what needs to be met within yourself in order to be healed. And then lastly, the last card is it's the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is somebody that's charging in, has strong opinions, has strong beliefs, and is very independent and very much driving forward with this forceful energy. So if there is a possibility that you have been meeting life with impulsiveness and arrogance and inflexibility, it's asking for the awareness of that and the time for change. If it is possible that you have been meeting life too timid, not connected to your power, not allowing yourself to take action or to express your opinions or to be heard or seen, then it's about stepping into that energy and pushing forward and moving forward with it. So yeah, it feels like we've got three swords on the table here, and so this all has to do with the mind, and it's almost like the mind is needing to go through some kind of reboot, some kind of upgrade, so that our bodies can align and adjust to a higher frequency, a higher way of being in the world that serves once again a greater good. And for me, power is not just the clothes that we wear or the car that we drive or our social status. It's an internal connection that we have to ourselves. It's how it is that our minds